Companion and the Surface Pro. And now I'm going to be reviewing these from an artist standpoint. People have been dying to hear what I think of both of these machines, and so I'm finally getting around to doing that. Now that I've had time to compare both of them and play around with them, do some paintings. And I will say, first of all, I love them both. They're both fantastic machines. Both of the companies have done phenomenal jobs on them, and I'm thoroughly impressed, and I'm really excited with where things are going technology-wise. It's nice that we now have machines like this that we can paint anywhere. I can go with either of these machines to a coffee shop, set up, and do my professional work. And so both of these are running Windows 8, full copies of Photoshop, full pressure sensitivity, the Wacom sensitivity things on both of them, so they have nice pressure sensitivity. Yeah, they're both fantastic. Which one do I like better? That's what everyone's going to be dying to know, and I'll get to that. First, I want to talk about each of them individually. The Surface Pro is obviously a little bit smaller, but the screen quality is just as high. It's the same resolution on both of the screens. Color is fantastic, very vibrant, very accurate color. I've been thoroughly pleased with it. It can sometimes be a little bit too small of a screen. It's such a high resolution screen that sometimes the text gets really tiny, just because it's so many pixels densely packed into there. But you know, it does the trick. You know, as you might expect, dual cameras on both sides. With the Surface Pro, it's actually got a stand built into it. It's kind of a cool feature. It's somewhat handy. And the keyboard actually detaches, which is interesting. So, nice form factor, cool little tablet, very tiny. I love the fact that it's this small and this is all I need. And so I've actually traveled with this, and this is all I need to do my work, which is a lot of fun. The pen that comes with it is fine, but not great. It's a little bit flimsy, kind of rattles around, it's too lightweight. It's not the greatest. So I actually picked up another one. You can buy a bunch of different models that work on this, just look it up. So I picked up something that's just a little bit nicer to work with. So that's worked out pretty well. Processor speeds, with the Surface 2 that's coming out, these will be a little bit more comparable machines. But honestly, performance-wise, I've been just fine with both of them. They're both very good machines. That said, obviously you're going to need to do some tweaks to Photoshop to get it to run really well. The first time you boot up Photoshop, it's going to have all the super high performance features turned on, and so you got to turn off a lot of that stuff, like OpenCL and whatnot. And so turn that stuff off, and you'll actually get it running pretty well. I've done my full resolution work on this. Obviously, it's going to lag a little bit if you have a gigantic brush or you're doing something really processor intensive. But for most practical painting applications I found, it works just fine on both machines. They're both phenomenal. That's about it on the Surface. So let's talk a little bit about the Cintiq Companion that everyone's so excited about. I love almost everything about it. It is wonderful. Obviously, it costs about twice the price of the Surface Pro, but it's a fantastic machine. I like that it's a little bit bigger than the Surface Pro. It's just a little bit easier to work on. You feel like you've got a little bit more room to play with, and so I feel like I have a little bit more precision because of that, and it makes a much more comfortable painting experience. The Surface Pro can feel just a little bit too tiny, and I think that kind of creates some problems. Obviously, you're going to need a separate keyboard with this. It does not have one that sort of comes with it, that's designed for it. So if you like working with the keyboard, like I do, you're obviously going to need a Bluetooth keyboard or something like that. The buttons on the side work just fine. I've never really used a button on a Cintiq or a Graphire or anything. I just never bothered with them because I've always been more comfortable with keyboards. So I mean, the buttons are there if you care about that. Port-wise, it's obviously about the same on both machines. Dual cameras again. And colors are actually really nice on the Cintiq Companion. I've been really, really pleased with that. I've used quite a number of Cintiqs in the past, and I've hated all of them. Because every time I've used the Cintiq, the colors have been bad, like really, really far off. which is sad considering they're designed for artists and designers. But I've never been happy with the color accuracy. Color accuracy on this, though, is actually quite good. It's very bright, vibrant colors, very accurate colors. The screen's obviously a little bit more matte than the Surface Pro, but colors are there. It's got that nice texture that you kind of know from Wacom's products. The thing that I don't like about the Cintiq Companion, and it's a weird thing to complain about, I'm sure, but it's the stand. The stand is very, very stupidly designed. It's nice because you get 3 different levels of incline, but it's just really, really badly designed in so many ways. It doesn't attach very well, it doesn't detach very well, it's kind of clumsy, and then you've sort of got this extra piece of plastic and metal that you have to lug around. And I know that's a weird thing to complain about, but it bothers me because this, as a machine, is very well designed. It's gorgeous, it feels cool, it looks cool, you feel professional just holding it. This feels like a piece of junk. Yeah, it bothers me that this is how you have to do it. But so aside from the stand, really not too much that I'm complaining about on this. I really like it. It's a lot of fun to work on. You get typical Wacom pen. If you've ever used any of their products, it feels exactly the same. Fantastic pressure sensitivity. Good tweaking settings on it. It's been a joy to paint on. Now, which one do I like better? Again, knowing that the Cintiq Companion is twice the price for very similar processing speeds and very similar hardware in a lot of ways. At the end of the day, I'm probably going to go with mainly working on the Cintiq Companion. And only really because the size is slightly bigger and the inclines are nice to have. Despite the stand being a piece of junk, it is nice that you have those different stands. That said, the Surface 2 will have different inclines on it, so that problem is kind of resolved. But the size issue for me is actually somewhat substantial, and for extended painting periods, the Cintiq Companion is just more comfortable to work on. And so for that reason, almost alone, that small form factor size issue is really the only reason I'm going with it. I've had a blast painting on my Surface Pro. I've done some of my professional work on there, and I've loved it. But at the end of the day, I'll probably go with the Cintiq Companion 90% of the time. The times that I would still use the Surface Pro is if I want a lot of portability. Because again, this is all I need, right here. You don't have to take anything else, and you've got a ton of battery life. That's something people are going to ask me about. Battery life is really good on both of these. I think the official numbers are like 3 to 5 hours for either of them, and people complain about that, but honestly, how often are you going to be 3 hours without an outlet and you need that? Yeah, I don't know. I don't get why people are complaining about it. So I don't think it's a real issue. I think they both have fantastic battery life. Yeah, I think that's about it. So I would encourage you to buy either one of these because they're both fantastic machines. I would probably give the Cintiq Companion a 9.5 out of 10, only because it's a piece of junk stand, and the Surface Pro, probably about a 9 out of 10. If you're fine with the size of the Surface Pro, I'd probably go with the Surface Pro, because again, it's about half the price. You're going to get something like this for about $1,000, you're going to get something like this for about $2,000. That said, the Surface 2 is going to run you a little bit more, I think, but it really depends on what you're comfortable with. If you use Wacom products for years now, and you really like the company, and you like the reliability of knowing that you've got something they made, go for it. It's a wonderful device. I came into it really skeptical, because I've loved my Surface Pro for a while, but I have been thoroughly impressed with just how good it is. So, hopefully this has kind of helped a little bit. Yeah, and hopefully you go buy one. They are awesome, awesome products. So good job to both of the companies, and I'm excited to see where this stuff goes next.